Lolly ho, fellow warriors of darkness, it's Haru here with another Shadowbringers video. This time we're talking about my impressions of the ninja class in its newest iteration. I do apologize for the delay. Between work and getting into a new static, it's been a struggle to get any content out. I was also waiting for 5.01 to drop to see if any changes would be made to ninja with the release of the normal raid tier. And sadly, nada. I'm also streaming again, but more on that at the end of the video. For now, let's talk about the new ninja. To preface, new ninja is fun. In my opinion, this iteration in ninja is probably the most fun it's ever been. It's a very active class, and I find myself being constantly engaged in managing my rotation, which feels great. This new ninja is not without its flaws, however. The main thing I take issue with is that ninja lost a lot of its support kit, and I don't feel like it does enough personal damage to compensate. Traditionally, ninja has always been the weakest of the melee because it's been classed as a support DPS. This is fine, this makes a lot of sense. In fact, I still think that ninja should be the weakest of the melee, as trick attack is an incredibly powerful tool. That all being said, the disparity between ninja and the other melee, and in fact any of the other DPS outside of Dancer, coupled with the loss of every support tool other than trick attack, just feels bad. But we'll go over that in more detail later. For now, let's go ahead and take a look at the Shadowbringers ninja kit, starting with the removed skills. So, ninjas lost Shadewalker and Smokescreen. These were enmity control skills that transferred enmity to a target or reduced the enmity generation of a target respectively. These changes were to be expected with the enmity rework, and it makes sense that they're no longer there. Jugulate was also removed, which I'm incredibly grateful for. For those not in the know, Jugulate used to be a good utility ability as it could toggle between a stun or a silence depending on which poison you had applied. Stormblood saw the loss of the poison system and thus the ability to change it into a stun, leaving it as a dedicated silence. Since silence is highly situational, this was just classed as a bloat DPS skill that didn't even do a significant amount of damage. These changes were to be expected. However, what I didn't expect was for Square to remove the Dripping Blade's passive trait from ninja. This came in the form of two different traits that would give a flat 5% and 20% damage increase to all actions. The loss of this trait combined with the loss of slashing debuff is what caused ninja damage to fall where it is today, despite all the potency buffs that ninja received. Ninja also lost the duality skill, though in actuality it's more like it received an upgrade in the form of Bunshin. Moving on to the new skills, ninja actually didn't really get much in the new toys department. Let's start with Bunshin. Bunshin is incredible. As I mentioned earlier, this skill feels like an upgrade to duality, but boy is it an upgrade. It will net you nearly 1,000 extra potency over the course of 7 GCDs and feels incredible to use. It does an amazing job of making ninja feel incredibly fast during the burst windows when you use it. The copied weapon skills can still crit and direct hit independently of the original skills, which makes ninja incredibly crit reliant, which makes sense for a speedy class like ninja. I'll go ahead and lump the new ninjutsu together since they're both modifications of old ninjutsu. Hyosha Rangyu and Goka Mekyaku are respectively the alternate forms of Hyoton and Katon under the effects of Kasatsu. Not really all that much to say here. They're higher potency forms of their counterparts, and you'll want to use them whenever they're available and applicable. We also received Missy. This ability is, interesting. So it consumes a Suiton buff that we use for trick attack in order to give us 40 Ninki. The primary function of this ability is to line up Bunshin with trick attack as far as I can tell, and as such is only really viable to use after a Tenchi Jin, since you only need to use it one time between first and third trick attack to line up Bunshin anyway. Finally, there's Hakke Mujinsatsu. This is an AoE GCD that combos off of Death Blossom that grants us 10 seconds of Huton. Like all the other classes, this is an addition to make AoE during dungeons less awkward feeling. All in all, it does feel great to use, and you can pull out some incredible AoE DPS between this, TCJ Doton, and multiple Goka Mekyakus. And that's about it for new abilities. As I said, Ninja didn't really get a lot of new toys. What we did get were a lot of tweaks and changes. Ninja received a multitude of changes to quite a few abilities. A lot of these come in the form of potency increases, and at first glance, a lot of these seem insane. All of our globals, Dream Within a Dream, Bava Kakra, Trick Attack, Fuma Shuriken, and Raiton have all seen varying potency increases. However, we have to account for the fact that Ninja lost not only the Dripping Blade's trait, but the slashing debuff from any source in its entirety. All of the potency increases are simply an attempt to cover for the lost buffs, but as I said, we'll cover that more in detail later. Abilities that did see effect changes include Shadeshift, Mug, Suiton, Shukuchi, Kasatsu, Assassinate, Hellfrog Medium, and Shukiho. Shadeshift now nullifies damage of all types up to 20% of your max HP. This ability used to be restricted to physical damage, so this is a nice quality of life change since we no longer have to keep track of the type of damage coming out. We can now just shield ourselves whenever there's big damage incoming in order to help out our healers. And believe me, it will help out your healers. Currently we're sitting at around 80k HP, so this is effectively a 16,000 damage shield, so it'll take quite a bit of stress off your healers. Mug has seen a small potency increase and grants us 40 Ninki now instead of 30. This change is really good, but you'll also have to pay closer attention to your Ninki when you're using it. Ideally, you'll want to use it when you're at or below 40 Ninki to minimize Ninki overcap. I often find myself using this at 40 Ninki and double weaving Baba Kakra with it. Suiton did receive a potency decrease, moving down to 130 potency. However, the Suiton buff that is required for the use of Trick Attack now lasts for 20 seconds instead of 10. This is a minor quality of life buff that just makes it easier to use Trick Attack. Shikuchi is a charge action now and can still be reset with Katon, Raiton, and Hyoton, but it is now a 2-charge action. Since Raiton is our go-to ninjutsu for whenever Trick isn't immediately coming up, this effectively means that you'll always have a Shikuchi ready, which feels amazing. I still maintain that Shikuchi is the best skill in the game. And now it's just even better. Kasatsu no longer guarantees that your next ninjutsu is a critical hit, instead increasing the damage of the next ninjutsu used within 15 seconds by 30%. It also allows access to the 2 new ninjutsu. This effectively means that Hyosho Ranryu and Gokamiekoku are, in actuality, 780 and 520 potency abilities respectively. This is because they can only be used within the Kasatsu window anyway. Also, the window for using the Kasatsu buff has been increased to 15 seconds from 10 seconds, which is handy. Assassinate can now only be used under the effects of the Assassinate Ready buff granted by Dream Within a Dream. It's now also available at level 60 alongside Dream. Though it is a measly 200 potency, Assassinate is a guaranteed direct critical hit, which means that its damage is very consistent. You should aim to pair it with Dream Within a Dream, and you can, in fact, double weave it with Dream Within a Dream if your ping is low enough. That being said, you do have a solid 10 seconds after using Dream to use this, so if you have a Hyosho or Bava to use beforehand, they will take precedence over this ability. Hellfrog Medium now has damage fall off. Not really much to say here. Ninja AoE is actually still incredibly strong despite this, so it's kind of whatever. At 400 potency, if I have to be disconnected from a boss for a long period of time, I use Throwing Daggers and this ability to continue actively DPSing and preventing Ninki overcap. Besides AoE though, that's really the only situation where you could be using it. Finally, Shukiho. For those unfamiliar, Shukiho is our passive trait that allows us to generate Ninki. Back in Stormblood, this used to be tied to auto attacks, which was frustrating to say the least. Now Shukiho generates Ninki whenever you land a weapon skill, which is probably the single greatest change this patch. Ninjas are no longer reliant on absolutely perfect uptime in order to ensure that our Ninki abilities are coming out in time, and we can actually plot out when we will have enough Ninki to use our abilities at a glance, instead of praying that our auto will land between 2 CDs. Overall, I think that all the changes to the mechanical aspects of Ninja are great. The job feels active and engaging. I'm always managing multiple resources and cooldowns. The job just feels fast and busy, especially since we can double weave now. Oh, right, we can double weave now. For those of you that saw my rotation example, you may have picked up on this, but Ninja can now double weave every ability outside of ninjutsu. This opens up the avenue for some crazy flashy openers that do insane damage. We were able to do this to some degree in Heavensward with some abilities, so it's nice to see that the animation delay has been reduced across the board. However, the reintroduction of double weaving and the fact that Raiton is now our best option for extra ninjutsu presents a problem. More so now than ever, Ninja is most certainly ping-gated. That's not to say that it's impossible to play with higher ping. With all of the double weaving and Raiton casts, however, a ninja with high ping will have a significantly harder time reaching their maximum potential. I feel like with Ninja in its current state, a player wouldn't be able to maximize their damage if they're at or above 90 ping, and even then it might be a struggle. So it's now officially later, so let's go ahead and talk about what I've been alluding to here and there, the saddest part about New Ninja, the damage. Now, before any of this, I want to preface with this. I do not mind the idea of a low damage job, so long as they provide enough utility to compensate. Ninja was initially released as a support melee DPS with plenty of utility. Initially, we brought both a stun and a silence into the party, and so long as we knew what we were getting into beforehand, we could bring either. We brought our own slashing debuff to accommodate parties that didn't have a warrior, which was a bit of a rarity, I know. We had strong enmity management tools in order to allow tanks to spend more, if not all of their time in a DPS stance for faster clear times, or allow a healer to get through a heavy heal check without drawing enmity. Originally, Ninja was also the only job that had access to Goad, all that compounded on top of Trick Attack, which is probably still the strongest raid buff due to its flat damage increase and incredibly low cooldown. All melee now have a stun, damage type debuffs no longer exist, enmity has been reworked to no longer require Ninja's enmity management tools, and TP no longer exists, and even then, all melee would still have Goad. Outside of Trick Attack, Ninjas no longer have any utility to speak of. Now, granted, Trick Attack is a strong enough ability that it should actually warrant that our personal DPS is lower than the rest of the melee, but the fact of the matter is that Ninjas no longer carry enough support to be considered a support melee, yet we're still classed with support melee damage. And not even support melee damage, just support damage. This is further exacerbated by the fact that Ninja actually has a moderately high skill floor and what I would consider a very high skill ceiling, with ping gating on top of that. Again, I honestly have no issue with Ninja being the lowest damage out of all the melee jobs, but as it currently stands, not only are we a solid 2k behind any other melee, the only other job that does less damage than Ninja are Dancers. I am hopeful, however. The X.05 patches typically mark when bigger class changes begin happening, and we did see potency increases across the board during release to try and accommodate for the loss of Dripping Blades. However, I think Square failed to consider just how badly losing both Dripping Blades and the slashing debuff would affect us. Even if it was a nerfed version, I think that Ninja would be in a very good spot if we were to gain the Dripping Blades trait back. Even if it were only a 10% version, that would bring us more in line with all the rest of the melee. The alternative to this would be to add support effects to their existing kit, or add Ninja exclusive support skills to justify the lower damage. All in all, Ninja does feel great to play. It's extraordinarily fun, and I do want to continue playing it. However, the amount of effort one has to sink into maximizing the potential of Ninja does not feel adequately rewarded at the moment. The fun kit, the busy skill management, the ability to actually map out Ninki, all of the moment-to-moment decision-making, the struggle to ensure that Trick Attack is coming out at consistent times, using Shikuchi effectively to attempt to maximize uptime, all of this has kind of killed for me when I stop to think, damn, all of that effort and it still only amounts to a middle-of-the-road insert job here. I desperately hope that Ninja receives some changes with rebalancing patches. On a more positive note, I'm actively streaming again. I've been looking for a static for the upcoming raids and managed to find a good one. All the footage in the background is courtesy of my new static. Our raiding times are Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific, and I intend to be streaming every time we get together. So come along and check it out at twitch.tv/Yoshinoharu if you like what I'm doing with the channel. As far as new videos, for the rotation video, I've been taking some time to master the ins and outs of both the 10-second trick opener that's been floating around, as well as refining my own. I'll get that video out as soon as I'm able. Besides that, I've had some comments asking me about my ACT voice triggers as well as my UI, so I'll probably be doing some quick videos about those fairly soon. I just wanted to pump this out. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys this time, so I will see you all next time.